Good afternoon, all. Paul from CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Wednesday afternoon, June 4th. We're looking at Window Traders market profile of the ES and NQ. So pretty boring day, for lack of a better word, today. But a couple of things to keep in mind. Still, in the bigger picture, positive for the bulls. ES does put the weekly and daily up. But if you notice, they just barely took out March's monthly high. I'm keeping that in there. So I'm going to keep the monthly still balanced. Tied for the second smallest range of the year in SPY. So, horrible range, which makes it even more fascinating that we did not get an IB high or low. We did take out the IB high by a tick, so it's poor in ES, but I don't count that. We need two. So that's the fourth time this year. In the previous 2 years, we've only missed an IB 3 times out of 2 years. So not even halfway through this year, 4 times for ES. And I think NQ is 3 this year too also. NQ is, 3. So small range, below average volume, not conducive for good day trading. However, looking in the bigger picture, ES spent the entire day in the upper distribution and above. Again, you got to take what M does with a grain of salt, right? We were 10 wide. Now we raised it, lowered it, raised it, lowered it, but not by a lot. But it's a 10 wide point of control. So again, we'll see. Do we get more consolidation tomorrow? Do we take out today's low and come into a 3-day balance? Remains to be seen. NQ, on the other hand, continue to go up. They're up on all 3 time frames. Now, NQ does end with a 9 wide point of control and an afternoon pullback in F. Righty goes with an afternoon rally high in J, a 9 wide POC, and they didn't get the IB high or low either. NQ got both overnights. ES just got the overnight high. They missed the overnight low by a tick, so they were weak against it. To show you how tight it is, our scorecard in ES was 2-2. That leads you to show how little either side had control of the intraday. NQ, the Bulls won again 5-2. So the Bulls have had solid wins in NQ all 3 days this week. So as they continue to chug along up on all 3 time frames. For me, I want to see us take out, obviously, March's high by more in ES, so I can call the monthly up just like NQ's is up. We still, if we have a poor monthly high now, we didn't even get the overnight monthly high for March, let alone the overnight monthly high for May. Okay? Again, it was an okay day. Nothing huge by any stretch. I shut down my personal account after D. Made about $600 and something in it, $670 or something. And then I didn't do much in the afternoon. I missed, unfortunately, the overnight high in A. Been slow on the draw on some of those, unfortunately. I missed it. But I did make a little money on an ebb and flow trade, which really was an ebb and flow trade at that point. But once we got the overnight high and we had value overlap and a high, I bought a pullback and made some money. B period, I took the short. I did not get the short to take out A's low. Missed that. But I did get the short to get the overnight low. So did well on that, and then one other short when it came back up against the 144. But then after that, everything was on the long side. C period, I was long one time against the 144 when it backed off against it because we had stopped the one-time framing down. D period, we started one-time framing up, and even though it was inside the IB, again, on pullbacks, I was looking for longs. Even though we had both overnights, value was overlapping a higher, and just took a couple, did okay on that. I took a long in G period to stop the one-time framing down when we took out F's high. I period, I took a long. Again, we were one-time framing up, once against the 144 when it pulled back. It did not make it easy to go get the IB high. And then I finally did get the IB high, but for very little, only like 5 points in J period. And that was it. So not a huge P&L day, but again, it's a kind of day a lot of people can and unfortunately do get chopped up. So these are the days you try to scratch out some and wait for the days that have very good tempo and volume, right? So no complaints doing what I did today. Let's go to the charts. So again, I'm still calling this balance because we barely took out March's high in ES. You want to call it up, I have no problem with that. But I'd like to take this monthly high out by a little more. Okay? So, again, we have all month. Let's see what happens. For now, I'm still calling it balance. The weekly, though, officially, I'm finally calling it up. Okay? The weekly, for me, has come out of a 3-week balance, not including this week, and I'm calling them up. It's an inside week up, don't forget. So the inside week up is held now 2 days in a row. So the weekly is up. Don't forget, we also have the weekly gap below us. So, and on the daily, I'm also finally going to call it breaking out of this huge balance to the upside, one time framing up for 3 days with a minuscule range. Look at that range. Look how small it is. So, again, the one decent thing, we're going to probably do about 58 million. Now, that's 10 million below average. But we've seen a lot of times when we have ranges of this magnitude, how small they are, we could do in the 30s in SPY. So that's not that bad. We'll see if it's going to come into summer grind up and the doldrums with volume and range. I hope not, but anything is possible. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing to this channel. I hope you had a good day trading. Enjoy your evening. And we will speak prior to the opening tomorrow.